What's up, everyone? WD Creates here. It is 6 p.m. on Friday, April 23rd, which means Ludum Dare has just started. I was waiting for the theme to get announced before I made this introductory video clip, which I will stitch together with the rest of my eventual processes and some of the programming that I do and, music and art that I make and all that stuff. But, yeah, the theme is Deeper and Deeper. So, right after I make this little intro clip to the video that I eventually publish, I will probably begin coming up with ideas for themes for the game related to Deeper and Deeper. But yeah, for those of you who don't know what Ludum Dare is, it is a game jam competition. I'm entering the compo, which means everything has to be started from scratch. You have to make your own art and your own music and sound effects and code. So I'll be starting with an empty Unity project. And for the next 48 hours, I will be slaving away and not sleeping much and taking horrible care of my body so that I can finish a video game. But yeah, I'm very excited to see how everything turns out. So I am now going to begin. With the theme being Deeper and Deeper, I wanted to make sure that I found an idea that I was excited and pumped to work on, especially because I actually wasn't super thrilled with Deeper and Deeper being the chosen theme for the compo. So I just started creating a web of ideas branching out from one another until I had maybe 3-4 ideas that I was excited to work on. I remembered this game Banjo-Tooie seen on screen. There was this mini game with these totem creatures that were playing soccer, and I always liked that little mini game, and an idea came in my head that I kind of liked, and I was like, hey, what if I make a weird totem creature resembling those things, and kind of make the game into a 3D platformer where you're this totem guy that kind of jumps through a volcano. And goes deeper into the volcano to kind of fit the theme. So, as you can see, I popped open 3ds Max and I began modeling this totem creature using the paint.net image that I created a few seconds ago on screen as a reference. And boy, that is a scary looking image. I'm glad it's not fully on the screen because, yeah, it's a very creepy, interesting looking thing. But anyways, so I finished modeling the totem guy, and I smoothed him, and I exported him and uploaded him to a website called Mixamo.com, which is an Adobe product that auto-rigs a skeleton into your 3D character. So I hope that's legal for the compo, but I am disclosing that I used it, so I'm assuming it's probably legal. And yeah, and then after that, I started working on a simple 3D platformer controller, just getting the basics done. I've actually programmed these many times before. It's just all custom coded in Unity. I don't like using the standard asset stuff because I think it's kind of annoying. I like having more freedom. So yeah, I began coding a custom controller. Once I made enough progress on it, I kind of felt bored. So, I stopped. It was at this point in the development that I realized I did not want to continue with the Totem Volcano-esque game that I was making. And I instead went with one of the other ideas that I had came up with, which was a futuristic cyberpunk style / synthwave style motorbike racing game. And of course, with every motorbike racing game, one must have a bike. So I began modeling a Cybertruck inspired synthwave, outrun, cyberpunky, whatever word you want to use to describe it, Tron influenced bike in 3ds Max. The goal was to have little glowy kind of outlines around the tires and around the bike, and I would make sure that after making a material in Unity that these would glow nice and retro-y. So after exporting the bike, I began modifying that 3D platformer controller I had made before to start working with a bike. As you can see, it was going really well. But I continued on. I actually ended up completely removing all usages of wheel colliders, which I am currently using in the video right now. But I ended up creating something completely from scratch, and I've never actually made a racing game before, so it was very fun, mechanically and programmatically wise, to create such a system. And because I had never actually done something like this before, it did take me quite a while to get everything working. I mean, look at the camera there. So after I tried a couple times to no avail to get the system working, I took a break to model a little character to sit on the bike. So it's 3ds Max again. It's another simple thing, just a simple dude who I end up smoothing in a second here and then exporting once again to mixamo.com in order to rig it. But this time there was no animation or even a pose for some person riding a bike on the website. So I ended up just getting a T-pose, downloading it, and then setting up a little animation pose on the character myself in Unity. So I used a little Google image to try to get a picture of someone riding a Tron bike, and honestly, there wasn't really a good one, so I kind of just went with what I thought worked. I think it looks a little weird, but it was pretty late at night and I needed to go to bed. I set up a ramp real quick so I could work on something tomorrow, and went to sleep. For day number 2, I started off the day by making some textures, some very simple grid-like textures that I could basically use as a prototype, but if need be, I could maybe have them pass to be a production level texture. And as a programmer, I'm just using paint.net here. Pretty simple program. It's like it's the poor man's Photoshop, but I honestly like it better, even though it's not nearly as good, because it's just simple, and I'm never good enough at art to do this very, complex things. But after I got those in, I started working more on the bike, just so I could hammer down the way that it felt, adjust the camera and stuff to get that working well. And I was working mostly at this point on an issue where the bike was falling into the ground because of slopes. So I was using sphere casts to get this working. And I also had a system in place to vary the distance of the sphere cast based on the bike's velocity. And as you're about to see, the efforts and fruits of my labor clearly were going to pay off just Okay, I had some work to do. The moment of truth was a success. But now, back to the game. I soon, after fixing the bike issues, decided to work on the UI. So I made a speedometer in paint.net and just coded up some pretty simple speedometer logic. The MPH was just based off of a minimum and a maximum speed value, and I interpolate between the different rotations of the hand, whatever you want to call it. So now you can see some of the progress of the bike had gone very well at this point. I added a little bit of a camera tilt as well, and yeah, you can see sort of the physics debug system that I have created a little bit too, with the little red spheres in there. They have a line that's being drawn also. It might be tough to see from this squashed video. But next, it was time to make some sound effects, which I use Mixcraft 9 to do so. It's where I make my music as well, so I'm pretty familiar with the program. Here's the first pass of the engine audio. Yep, it was a little bit terrifying. Didn't love it too much, so I'm also fiddling with Audacity, you can see a little bit, touching up some of the looping problems. And I'm coding a smart audio system to be able to play, pause, and do some other stuff while keeping certain values the same or changing them. And as you can see, it doesn't sound so good. So I made a little bit of adjustments, and then this time it stopped playing completely. So I decided to make particles. Yep, I just shifted my attention away from the sound for a little bit to create a particle system for the bike. I made some textures and paint on that, as you can see. This is on like 20,000 times speed, so I'm coding stuff for particles, testing some more audio stuff, just doing a whole bunch of stuff here. Because this video is going to be too long if I don't have a ton of montages in here. But yeah, so as you can see now, after this long montage of work, I have a test level with the bike moving around, and the audio system sort of working. It doesn't sound too good though. And yeah, there we go. And now that I had that basic, bike physics and everything done, along with the engine audio and stuff, I shifted to the environment. So you can see I'm making a little rectangle with a material sectioned off for glowing attributes, and I did the same with the road, did some subdivisions and some curves, so I had different curve types. I ended up creating a ramp here, different size ramps, a tunnel, as you can see, so just some very basic architectural shapes for the environment modeling. I'm not a pro modeler, but I can make some, pretty basic assets and stuff. So once in the game and with a pretty simple texture actually applied, you can see in the editor that it looks pretty nice. I had replaced the material with a glowing material, and I wrote a little script to make it slide. And it looks pretty good. I was just so happy with how this looked, honestly. Once I had this going with the little glow effect applied and stuff, I was very, very happy. And I came up with this idea, actually, to create a Jumbotron that would kind of talk to you, which it didn't fully come to fruition. I ended up only having one in each level, but yeah, I thought it'd be funny to have it kind of like talk to you or maybe be sarcastic or something like in Portal, but just didn't really end up happening. It is a nice added effect, though, I think, as you can see right up there. And now it's time to make the music. It's a little known fact, but I actually also make synthwave music. So this sort of game was perfect for what I wanted to do musically. Apologies for the odd noises, but I thought it'd be kind of funny to leave some of them in there. And as you're about to hear, this is what I came up with at first. Oh, right. Slow it down. Then I added a little hook. And I spent a very long time on the sound of things. And the final result sounded a little something like this. And that was actually the end of the second day. Day number 3 was a mad scramble to get something resembling a complete game together by 6 p.m. If you see on the screen right now, I'm creating springs because one of the things I said I needed to do by 6 p.m. was create more mechanics for the game. So I decided on a spring zone and a boost zone. The spring zone would jump you up, and the boost zone would boost you forward. The other thing that I said I needed to do was create a menu and have a complete level transition system, along with having at least 3 levels so that the game could be complete. I also really wanted to have a second or third song. Like, having a song per level would be awesome because part of the game is focused on the songs, but I just didn't have the time, unfortunately. On the screen right now, you can see this is the main menu, and basically it's just a little compilation of some of the assets I had, including some biker guys that just kind of roam off into the tunnel and then appear back on the other side of the screen. This is the jump zones, which are kind of cool, and then these are the boost zones. Yeah, it looks pretty cool, but that's the end goal where you run into it and then it takes you to the next level. And one more thing to note is that if this video is starting to feel like a mad scramble, it's because I was completely scrambling at this point. I was just trying to get everything together, and boy, it was a mess. It was a mess indeed. You can see me working on the other biker guys on the menu here. I added the little text that says this was a game by me for Ludum. I built everything to test it out to make sure it was working okay, and then this is kind of a compilation of me making another level. But yeah, as you're about to see, well, did I make everything on time? And that's a wrap. Thank you so much for staying to the end of this video. There's a couple things I want to say before I go. Number one, if there's something in the game that you saw that I didn't get to talk to you about, I'm very sorry. I didn't end up recording like literally everything that I did. I tried to record a lot of it so that I have enough footage to make a video on. But yeah, you know, the third day especially, I didn't get to record a lot of the stuff. I was very stressed out. I had a huge time crunch and I had to get a lot of stuff done. But if there's any questions you have about any of the stuff that I made for this game jam, please drop a comment below and I will get back to you as soon as possible. Secondly, you can play the game in its current state from the competition. So if you want to do that, you can do a Windows download in the description, or you can do the HTML5 web browser version, which is also in the description. If you can do Windows, I would suggest that because the graphics quality is much better. But yeah, lastly, if you're curious to see where this game goes from here, once the rating is over for Ludum Dare, I can continue to work on it and update it, which I'm very excited to work on because I think there's some really cool stuff I have going here. And being a synthwave music artist as well as a programmer, I think that this is the perfect game for me to really create an awesome soundtrack along with some cool game stuff. So yeah, if you're interested in the future of this game, please hit that subscribe button and stay up to date, and I'll try to keep you guys up to date with the content and stuff. But yeah, if you liked the video, then give it a like. If you disliked the video, give it a dislike. At least I know how you feel about it. But whatever, man. Whatever, dude. I don't know. I'm tired, okay? I'm just so tired. I'm gonna go to bed now. Bye, thanks for watching.